What up? What up? What up, boy? It's your boy, Charlie Lyric, and this is how's it going? Hey, Queen Bee Divine, I see you down there. Hello, everybody on Twitch, on Twitter, not Twitter, YouTube. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, I had to get something real fast. Okay, so that was very last minute. It wasn't a whole bunch of rushing either, but it was just last minute. And I knew it was coming. I just didn't bother to set up. So, how's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is well. If Queen Bee, if you want to come up to the stage and say what's on your heart today, feel free. If not, that's cool too. You can just stick around. No pressure. I try to get people up here, but they don't. Oh, here they come. Here she come.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are
Oh,
you?
I'm breathing. I'm having a pretty delicious day.
Oh, that's good. How was your day? What did you do? What happened in it?
Let's see. I'm just, just moving it forward in a good direction. When everything seems to flow your way that day because you're so in tune, and I've been working on my energy and making sure it's maintained so I can manifest all this good shit. So I've been doing really good. So I'm very proud of myself, and it's nice to see you on stage doing your wonderful card reading and just shining your light to the rest of us, because it's always nice to see more light in the world.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's it's an alright day. I'm glad you had a good day as well. I'm glad you're feeling so vibrant.
I'm feeling vibrant. Yeah. You gotta, count your blessings. Some days it's I'm learning, you know what it is? I'm learning to just balance the energy. I mean, I love
Mm,
being super excited. And that's such naturally me, but I'm trying to find an even keel. And, and I don't like being blah. But I love being really super excited, but I'm trying to find a more even keel. You know what I'm saying?
that's great. That's awesome. So in that, how do you do it? How do you get to that balanced place?
Well, for the last couple of days, I was listening to my intuition, and not to get to, we can always talk on the back channel if that's what you feel. But I was realizing there's some things that I need to migrate from, because it was taking up way too much of my time.
Ah, that's fair.
Yeah, right. And sometimes I'd be doing 2 hour talks, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I realized that the universe was pulling me away from these 2 3 hour talks so I can fit more in my day and boost my podcast. And I've been very blessed to get a roster of guests I'm booked for the next month and a half, on my in my just with the curious the conversation. So I'm excited because I see how the universe is working, but I was so fearful in losing that comfortability. So to find my balance, I had to really listen to my intuition and trust that even though I was migrating away from something that I do enjoy, it was going to fill me with it. So it's a lot of faith, and and then keeping those who resonate with your energy close. Check up on them and make sure they're okay. And remember that the world is not all about you, and take my head out of my ass sometimes.
That's good. Oh, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. You do your thing. You do your thing.
All right. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Are you still there? I still got you, or are you
I'm
going
still
down?
here.
Are you
I'm
going
still
down?
here. I'm still here.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear you doing so well. I'm glad to hear you in high energies. It's good to hear that your show is going well. It's good to hear what look, hold up. We skipped over a part. Tell my people what your show's called.
Oh, it's called
Tell
the
us what it's
curious. It's called The Cure is the Conversation. And I love having people tell their journey, because for me, the one of the main reasons why I'm here is because when people told their stories, I felt my humanness wake up. I didn't feel so alone. So I created this space called The Cure is Conversation, so people can share their journeys, as messy as they may think it is. Because I believe that the reason why we're here is to share our journeys and to share our light. And the messier it is, I think it gives more inspiration to others who are coming out, coming up and trying to find their place. And and I just found, I was just reawoken to the fact that I had to finish a calling that I was called to do. So I'm migrating that into the talk about through healing and using the ancient herbs and the ancient art of our African ancestries to continue to help and heal people moving forward. So when we talk about with these things, it makes it very comfortable. So nothing seems out of the ordinary because it's a part of who we are.
Yeah, I'm for that right there. So, I'm all
So, while you're here, I was trying to reach you, and I know you've been you're doing your thing. So I would love for you to be a part of that, because that's what we had, talked about. But I would love for you to be a part of that in any way you feel comfortable. But that was my intention, to kind of just get my feet on the ground, because going through, change sometimes sucks, and you look messy and people think you don't know what you're doing, but we should give each other the space to change. So I've kind of landed on my feet. So I just want to let you know I'm on this side. And I love your show. I love, you sit there and you really feel your energy, and you pick a card, and you read the energies. And I love how you do that. And I think that should be explored much more deeper than just this fireside. I think you should be out there just helping as many people as you can.
thank you, thank you. I'm definitely trying to. I've definitely been doing some things in the background, so it's not that I did. I'm pretty sure. I hope I did. I'm not going. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to touch it. But but it's been so busy. It's been so busy. As of late, just because I've been trying to, you know, as Libras do, we trying to get our balance. It's the same way you say. I've been trying to get my balance and everything. And then not only that, there are some things happening, some surprises. Eventually you'll end up figuring out, everybody will end up figuring out what the surprise is, because because I won't be able to hide it. It's a whole person. So you know, but at the end of the day, I've been trying to do all of that. And once I'm on the other side of the next 2 weeks, things will be different. Things will get better. Because I've just been so involved in my own mental space. I'm trying to. That was one of my points in this year. One of the spiritual readings I got was they told me you have to learn how to balance out work and love, because you give more attention to love and to personal life than you do to work. And that's very true of me. I get shut down. Like, if there's stuff going on, I'll shut down. But I'm learning to, no, I've mastered it. I've mastered it somewhat over the years, getting older. But just this year alone has shown me a lot. Like, you got to show up and you still got to do what you have to do. And, and I'll tell you, it makes it a little harder because it's, there's nobody over my shoulder. There's no manager. There's nobody tells me you got to get out of bed and do work. There's nobody doing that to me. It's all self-managed, all disciplined. So it's me having to fight myself and get on my own back, and I'm doing better with that. I'm doing good at that. So by the next time, not this week. Here's another thing, and we can say this out loud. We can say this part out loud. So the I'm very much open for spiritual work. For anybody who is watching this who wants to do spiritual work of any kind, I'm very much open to it. Hold up. Let me back up. I don't do particular things. And if you know what spiritual work is, and you know what I'm saying when I say I don't do particular things, then I need you to respect that boundary. And also, I'm not bringing nobody's people's back. Nobody's bringing nobody's lovers back. We don't got time for that. Move forward, not back.
Amen.
So
Amen. Amen. Ashe, 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 ashe.
right. So, but with that being said, it's the fact of I have I'm open for spiritual work. Um, I'm gonna put it up on my menu on my website, and we'll get that all sorted out when it's time to get sorted out. And I'll show what I'll do, and I'm gonna make more videos. I've been so busy with the TikTok stuff. Nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I made those 3 TikToks and I just stopped. But 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 I do plan on making more. But yeah. So I apologize if it seems that I have been somewhat out of touch. I apologize if the show has been seeming somewhat random. It's not consistent, and I know it's not right now. But for my people who with me, rock with me, because when we get to where we're going to, it's gonna be worth it. I promise you. So, and I'm gonna always remember my first day people. Like, so, right now, be with me in the grind, be with me in the gym. So when you see me later on and you complain to me, I won't be like, you wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym, but you was there. You was right there. You was dealing with all my balls. So,
I love that.
yes.
I love that.
So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. And so, but I'm really happy to hear all of that. I'm really happy to hear how you're moving forward in it, and you're embracing it and stepping into place and bringing in good stuff. I like it. I'm for it.
Thank you so much because like you were saying that you had a spiritual, reading. I got a spiritual message myself that my boat was sinking, like it was losing holes. I was wasting time in these places that wasn't reciprocating the energy I was putting into it, and I had to just do a little check of, well, okay, where am I going? Where's my boat leaking? And I plugged up the holes, so to speak, and I answered the call of my ancestry. And like you said, there's healing work, and I do spiritual work. And I love how you said I ain't bringing nobody's boyfriend, girlfriend back. That's not how I work. But because and to be honest, because we're very candid, I would, in my very young days, I had gone down that path, and it doesn't lead anywhere. It just doesn't. I
Really?
remember being 15, 16 and being introduced to that energy, and no, 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 no. So, I really encourage people. My spiritual work is to help you go forward. And like I said, I do the Curious Conversation. You can find it on my website. You just, if you're here listening, you can just look for me. I'm in the group. I'm a follower. I'm following this wonderful energy here, Charlie. So I'm very happy that you're taking time to really notice where you need to shine more light and give more love to yourself, because you are so worth it. And a lot of people don't take time to say, I need to step back and give myself some light and love so I can see where I'm going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's significant to do some work on self, and to give some room to self and give grace to self. It's such a big deal. And alongside that, it's funny because I was about to say some funny stuff, but I'll say the serious stuff before I get to the funny stuff. Oh, my bad. But for the most part, yeah, no, it's very important. And even when I'm sitting here and I'm doing the tarot readings and I'm saying the camera and everything like that, I message out there like, in order for you to be happy, you have to maintain your relationship with yourself. It's significant. So, and a lot of people, they're really good givers, but they don't give to themselves, and that's the issue. That's so terrible, because if you can give so much to everyone else, then why
Yes,
can't
I
you give to yourself? Hear where I'm coming from?
totally agree. And like your show says, what's on your heart. A lot of people don't look what's on their heart. They know what's on everybody else's heart, but they're not asking the question for themselves. So, I love your title, and, because you get, when people feel comfortable, they're welcome to come on the stage and say, you know what, this is what's on my heart. I'm feeling this way. And, whatever comes up, comes up. And I think that's one of the main parts of healing, is being transparent, to where you feel comfortable, of course. and just saying, man, this is what it is. Because I can tell you, 2 weeks ago, I was having a hell of a time. I was like, I don't know if this life is just kicking I don't know what's going on. And I'm trying to balance the scale because I'm a Libra as well. I'm like, what's going on with these scales? There's someone messing with my scales. I don't know what to do. And I had to really just step back from all of it. And it kind of felt uncomfortable because I love being on, talking and holding a space. But the universe, God, however you want to perceive it, said, I need you to just step back and realize that maybe that not everybody who's surrounding you has a positive agenda towards you. And that's when self-care came. And I went, oh, wait a minute. I need to step back and really see what I'm feeling and feel it and be okay with being sad, being okay with being absent on certain places, and being okay with having my life work out the way it is on the timing it's meant to work out. So when you step back of it, for me anyway, when I stood back and said, oh, okay, I was realizing that I was trying to I was getting into, I hadn't done it, but I was getting into the place of serving everybody else and not serving myself.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. That's the point to be on. That's the thing you need to see. That's the thing you need to know in order to go forward and be good. Hey Jill, how you doing? I never see Jill. I always see Tony, but I never see Jill. Do these things and to focus on self and give love to self and that space with yourself. Oh, they're both here.
Yes,
These two, I just want to pause real quick. I want to acknowledge them. These two right here, people. Those are my other fireside people. They're awesome. They're both Sagittarius and they're really dope.
Ooh,
And so
Sagittarius
I just wanted
energy.
to shout out to
Love it,
them for a
love it,
minute. Say,
love it.
yeah, yeah. And so and I kind of really want to. For a moment, if we could talk about something. I don't mind talking about it, but I want to know that you're comfortable talking about it. And when I'm talking about what I want to tell you about what happened with the you remember when I came to you with the dream, right? Okay. So and it's not to step on no one's toes. It's not because I didn't take in what you said or nothing like that. It's just I don't get the opportunity to talk to many initiates. And see, it's something to talk to someone who knows, who has knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And when I say all these verbiage, you vibrate, you're resonating with me because you know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. So my girlfriend has a friend and we got to talking. I did a reading for her. That was super awesome. But anyway, did a reading for, we was talking and I said, I want to tell you about a dream. And I told her about it, right? I told her about the dream. And she was like, I just want to say, dreams are usually interpreted in different ways by different people. But she was like, you were right. She said the only part that I would have seen differently was the part of going through the door. And she mentioned all these color variations that she went through, Oshun goes through, is her trying to figure out which version would be best visually for me. And she knew which one I would recognize when she got to the white one. And when I seen her and I freaked out, she knew that I would know that of her. And she was just like, it's super exciting to hear someone say things like that because she's actually a priestess of Oshun. So I thought I would share that with you while we were here. We don't never get into the spiritual topics on this side. Like, it's cool to talk about the philosophy and stuff like that, but I want to make this a spiritual space too. Go ahead.
No, I love hearing it because it really does need to be open. And I was listening to a gentleman, and I'll give you his name on the back end. I think you would really appreciate his message. It really opened my eyes. And what he does is he talks about the connection through because all our ancestors have the answers for us, and we don't focus on our ancestors enough. because they are the powers that bring us here. They are the ones that said, I'm going to live another day. I am going to walk another step so we could be here. And he focuses a lot on not only the ancestor aspect of, regardless of whom you are, but he really focuses on the African ancestry. And he really says, he speaks of such great knowledge of that, that we don't take enough time to realize how powerful we are as a people, and how when we were disconnected from that power, we lost a little piece of ourselves. And a lot of people, when they hear certain aspects of African tradition, not even African tradition, but African ways of life, it gets a little scary. But he really puts it in a perspective that when we get up in the morning, um, say say greetings and hello to your ancestors, your grandparents. Make that a part of your everyday talk. And he also spoke about Mott. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Maat. And it is, according to him, it is where the Ten Commandments derived from. But there are about 49, but all together about 147. And he has a way of allowing you to get back into your space and giving you the power to connect to your life. And Mott is all about saying things that, when you get up in the morning, instead of whatever we say, whenever, regardless of religion or whatever, it starts off, I will not hurt another. I will not harm my brother and sister. I will not steal. And at the end of the day, you go over these same lessons, and they're derived from African culture, that you go, I did not steal. I did not hurt my brother. And if you get to a one that you can't honestly say you did not do it, he just reminds you that that's a place where you just need to send more love to yourself so you can be a better person. So he really has a way that this was the original African way, as when we woke up in the morning, we would say these things to ourselves to keep us in line, to empower us to know that we have the power to not hurt another. We have the power to love a brother and sister, to give and share what we have, instead of thinking that whatever. So it is really, it's Africans, and I mean all those, life started in that basin. And if we realize that, if life and the truth, and it's already been proven that life started at that basin, that means the power is in the people. The power is in the people, and the people need to know that no one, no government, and not to get off too far, and no religion has the power to change you. You are the God wisdom incarnate in flesh. So we have the wisdom to do whatever we need. And that's part of the spiritual aspect that I believe a lot of us have forgotten. That we give away our power to organizations and places, thinking that they can fix our future, when God has given us the wisdom and the capability to do it for ourselves.
Ashe.
Hey,
Yo,
Ashe.
I went hard just now. I felt it. 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 I'm trying to, and I want to say a couple of
Please
things.
do.
I'm gonna put some things to it. The really cool part about ancestral veneration that most African Americans don't realize. See, other cultures aside from North America, really, almost every other culture in the world venerates their ancestors. They commemorate who has passed and hold dear those elders that led us here, and that gave structure to everything that we have today. And one thing that African Americans don't realize that we do, that is actually ancestral veneration. One, libation. So whenever you're standing outside and you could be with the homies, or you could be hanging out with the girls or whatever, and you pour a little drink out and you say, this one for whoever, this one for the homies, whatever. Libation. That is you giving veneration to your ancestors who are forgotten. And those people will actually be around. They will actually receive that. You replenish them when you do that. And that's something that they don't even realize that they're doing. Another thing is, a huge thing is, our living rooms. So when you go into almost any ethnic person's house, you go into their living room and it's a room full of people, and it's not just. And I always thought it was strange that it was called the living room, but it's a room full of people, and it's pictures full of people who are either are here or have passed. And usually, what people tend to do is when it's people who have passed, they usually separate those spaces for the people of the living and the people who have passed away. And it's not, I don't think they really do it intentionally. Some people do, but I think it's just something that we just do and we learn to do. But that in itself, that is veneration. Because what ends up happening is, look, you're putting those, you don't know this, but you're putting all your people out there and stuff like that. Then you're setting candles up around them and stuff. You're putting incense out and things like this. That's going to draw those spirits there. I mean, of course, they're going to take some other components, but it's the same thing. Essentially, the essence is there, and we're given to it, and we're building onto it. And that's something that we should practice more, because the thing is, science proves our DNA. Our DNA goes all the way back through all these bloodlines, right? That make us. Why would those energies not be tied to you? Why would you not carry the legacy of those energies on an energetic or on a cellular level? So I think these things are important. I'm so glad that you said it out loud. I'm so glad that it's actually something that's taking up this space right now, because it deserves to be talked about. And not only that, because I'm a hoodoo, and these are the type of conversations I want to be having. Like, it may make people uncomfortable, people may get scared of it, but that's another thing. I really want people to break out of the negative connotations that the words hoodoo or roots or voodoo or Ifa, like any of that, Vondun, like any of those, Santeria, brujas, okay, for the witches, because the reason why I say this is because most people don't realize these spiritual people that we're talking about right now, these spiritual cultures that we're talking about right now, are the backbone of so many nations. They fought so many revolutions. They protected people. They made sure people were kept. They made sure people were given all the knowledge, or not even the knowledge, but at least able to live in freedom. And that didn't just happen here in America. That happened in all these other countries with all these black faces that remembered who they were and didn't stop doing those traditions. But we don't give voice to them. And I think it's a shame. I think it's a truly forgotten. It's a spiritual practice that's forgotten, especially hoodoo. And now, what's a beautiful thing that's happening in hoodoo is the fact of it's getting to the point where even in academia, we're having discussions and saying, well, is it a religion or is it a spiritual system or is it a magical system? Is it a religion or is it a religious? Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. So that the fact of the matter is, it is a religion. It is a religion, and it's very much closed, and it's very much should be, meant for us, and it should be remembered, but also the people who are in these spaces should be recognized, because we're doing so much more work than what people realize, and all they want to do is condemn it and be afraid of it and don't know nothing of it. And I get that some people use it wrong, but at the same time, there's a whole facet of people out here healing and protecting the world that people don't acknowledge every single day. So, I think it's a huge thing, especially.
I love that you said that, because what I've learned, and it really has helped me, grounded me, and it was a whirlwind of grounding. Is that when we look at the Christian or Christianity or Catholicism, it is the same hierarchy as voodoo, Santeurian, anything that comes from the African body. There is a leader who, when they want to bless you and they think you think something's going on in your life, you go to that Pope and you say, Pope, bless me, give me something. And that in the African culture and in the beginnings of times, we had hoodoo priestess, and I am an initiated Santeurian voodoo priestesses, which means from my perspective, I learned how to use the natural herbs, the natural energies to heal the body. And one of those natural abilities is to be able to talk energy into another through conversation, just to talk and allow people to feel free to share a space of what they feel might be a no-no. And Africans, unfortunately, blacks, African, people of color, whatever, however you want to present it, they have been taken out of their place of comfort and put into another place. So if you're in somebody else's home, you are not going to feel comfortable to relax. You're not. You're gonna be like, man, this is not my house. I don't feel right. Can I touch your dishes? Can I get a glass of water? When we should be feel comfortable, but we are taken out of that aspect. I've spoken to a lot of people who do not connect Africanness to who they are. They're like, I ain't doing that. And I used to be one of them. I'm like, I ain't African. And my mama looked at me like, what's wrong with you, girl? What do you think you are? You know what I mean? And when you get to connection and you realize that all of these things came, science, mathematics, all of these things came from the originating Africa. But unfortunately, when we are scattered, taken, however you want to see it, these things were lost in our memory. So we were powerless, but we are waking up. And when we have conversations like this to say that I am initiated Santeria and voodoo priestess, and I do love and light work to help and assist people to connect to their own ancestry, because that is where the power is. So when people step out of their beauty and their truth, and they step into something different, another house, of course you're going to feel powerless, because it's not your house. It's not your house. So we have to learn to step back into our own house and learn to say, I am, and know that it's okay to express these things. And I believe that if people are uncomfortable with that, is that they're uncomfortable with the empowerment of self. And that's
Yeah,
what it's all about.
yeah. That was some good stuff. I like that. That's good. That's good to say
God is
out
good.
loud.
God is good.
God is good. God is good. That was awesome. Thank you.
So
Thank you
remind
for
me to connect with you and give you that gentleman's name. He speaks. It is, from me, it is just my husband. And I'm going to say, I'm going to be very open here. And my husband is a white man, and he was the one that introduced me to this African village gentleman. And he speaks on YouTube. And when I tell you, he really opens your eyes to know that unity cannot come if lies are still told in society about you. Unity will never come. And he brought out one thing, if you allow me a moment here. He said, even in the Christianity way or the Catholicism, and I'm speaking to everybody, because this is a very interesting thought. Why is it the savior that is for Christianity or Catholicism looks like, blonde hair, blue eyed, but yet when we picture the devil doesn't have a real figure. You can't look at anybody and go, hey, that looks like the devil. But when you look at the savior that they have created for us and for all, when you look at people who look like that, the first thing your subconscious is doing is like, they are my savior. And that's a big deal for deprogramming Africans to say, we are our own saviors. We had a way of living. And there's nothing wrong with being a Christian or Catholic, but it's not our house. It is not our house. And when we're in someone's house, it feels different. So it really could come back to a calling of knowing who you are, knowing your roots, knowing your ancestrals. And if you don't know your roots, the best way to do is to close your eyes and just meditate on your ancestors and call them in, like you said. Put a candle up, put a picture of your grandmother up, and connect with her energy and say, Grandma, I want to be connected to my ancestors, because that is where our power lies. That is why we were removed from Africa, because our power lies in knowing that we are strong.
mm, That's what you're saying is true. And look, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna for all the people out there on the replay and all the people out there on Twitch and YouTube and whether you're gonna see this again or not. I'll say this to you. Understand that what she just said is a pretty big deal, especially when she said connect to your ancestors by meditating on them. And you're probably like, what? How does that even work? And I promise you, how it looks in the 3D is not. It's not the same way it will work on the 4D. On the spiritual plane, it's not the same. You're calling them in, but on the 4D, I mean, and in I'm trying to keep certain words. In the material realm, in the physical plane here, I promise you, you do that and you just you just venerate an ancestor, whether it's your grandma, your grandpa. Start with them because they're the closest ones, or greats or great greats. Do that, and I promise you, some way, somehow, it will fall into your path to find your way to them. I promise you, it will. I work with my ancestors all the time, often. I'm gonna tell you something. They until I do what they say to do, they will harass me and kick my butt. As a practitioner, I will say that openly. Like, my ancestors don't play, and when they tell me to do something, they'll keep bothering me until I do it. So, you know, you'll definitely
That's
find
really
your way.
true because even when we talk on the back, and this gentleman is really great, as I said, great reading cards, very clear. And I was very blessed to get a reading from him. And, I was really directed to connect because I have to be, I'm going to be very transparent here. I was called to wake up to my truth many, many years ago, but I was so backwards, forward. I didn't know what to do. And my husband was one of them who said, do not forget where you are. Do not forget who you are. Because it gets hard sometimes when you don't see yourself reflected in your surroundings. You could forget who you are. And I was always a person who likes to light a candle, but I was like, what am I lighting a candle for? Who am I lighting? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I just and I would try not to beat myself up, but then I was very well directed. And I thank you for your reading. And I woke up, and one of the my ancestries, or how you call them, workers of the great divine, Yemaya is a water spirit, just came to me and really lifted me. And I'm like, where were you all this time? And basically she said, I was waiting for you. So, your ancestors are always there to help you. They're always there to guide you. And it's funny that when we feel, bombarded by life's problems or issues, the first thing we do is go outside ourselves. We go out, when you go, where I go? I go in my neighbor and go talk my business. I'm going here. But really, when all you have to do is sit and meditate. And the word meditate, if you notice it, really sounds like medication. And that's what it's doing for your soul. Meditation is medicine for your soul. It's a moment where you just shut up and you just listen to your voice inside. And if you need direction, connect with your grandmother, your great grandmother. Some of us have the blessing of having a picture or some artifact from their, I don't, but I have to use my imagination, but some of us do. And that's a beautiful tool to connect to your roots and call in your roots, because they're all inside of you. They're in your DNA, and they're waiting for you to wake them up, because they have answers for you. They have guidance for you. And it's not to say that religion can't give you that guidance, but religion don't know you from Harry. They don't know you, but your ancestors do. So remember, there is a divine creator out there that knows all, sees all, and be all. But I believe in the interim, we really need to focus on our ancestry, and how grandma and grandmother and great grandmother, and notice that their journey is, Black people, any kind of people. And I'm speaking, for all those who have been scattered from their home. You connect to those ancestries. There's a reason why our ancestors have went through such a tumultuous journey from here to there, because it's a reminder that we have the strength to overcome anything that we put our mind to.
Yeah.
Wow, I just love it.
you doing
I
greetings.
just love it. I
Greetings.
just love it. Queen Bee, I have been watching you for a while now. I think, didn't you have a live show
I
today?
sure did. I sure did.
Yeah, I was in that
Yeah,
audience
I remember
today.
now. Yes, yes.
Okay, but I have been watching you for a while, so I know your story. But you never told this story before.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
time
true.
and place for everything. You know what I'm saying?
That is exactly right. Charlie, he's my guy. I just love him. I love him. I felt his energy from the first time I saw him. And the things that both of you are talking about, some open my eyes, and then I'm like, oh well, shoot, I'm already there. You know what I mean? I've been there in the places you're talking about, but I don't ask questions. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, you want
Uh,
to break it down?
yeah, well, I just, when
Are you
they
comfortable
come,
breaking it down?
well, I don't want to go into too much detail tonight, but what
Okay.
I'm going to say is when they come to me, I don't question.
Mm,
I'm okay because I know that if I'm told to do something, it will never be something that harms me. It will only be for the good of me and others.
mm-hmm.
This is a thing where if they came to me and said, jump off the bridge, I would do it because I know they don't have any harm for me. They would never harm me. Which is incredible. People, and I'm just going to say, people in this realm don't understand the connection of real love.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. And it makes me sad that most of us here don't have a clue. We believe we know what love is, but actually we don't because we've never experienced the real, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
With that. And I believe it's a reflection of how far we've come from our roots and our ancestry. If we do not know our ancestors, I don't believe we know love. How can you love your neighbor and not love yourself? How can you love your neighbor
Correct.
and not know your ancestry? How can you say, I love you with all my heart and not know the roots that sprung you who sprung you here today? I believe that is what's love. I think what we know as love right now is a watered down and sellable idea of how to make money on the idea of love, when love is much more deeper and richer when we really sit down and think about it. And that's why this word love is so frivolous, and so people are like, oh, you don't know what love is because we really did a disservice to the word love. And it's so
Mm,
marketable now. It is so marketable that we don't know the genuine artifact of what love is. And I believe, from my perspective, is that you need to connect to the ancestors. You will, if you feel it and read about our, there's a book called When We Ruled. Read about how we ruled, kings and queens. We walked in gold and robes, and now look at us. We are begging just to go outside. We're begging to have a mask off our face. We're begging to get the job of our dreams. We're begging, and we do not belong in that aspect. We are powerful beings, and we need to connect to our ancestries to realize that truth again.
yeah.
Again, I love it. I love it. I love it. Man.
I
Oh,
love
this
this,
is
Charlie. Thank you. I'm feeling, woo! I feel great. Thank you so much, Charlie, for this space.
Nah, y'all the host today, cause yeah, y'all saying a bunch of powerful stuff. I'm just sitting here listening. I'm just like everybody else right now. I'm just listening. But I'm so glad y'all brought that energy to
it's
this.
it's um it's really amazing, because we are going through a change on this planet. Some of us are. Actually, it's quite a few of us are that realize what change is happening. All of us, not all of us, but many of us are waking up to who we used to be, who we're supposed to be. We have so many gifts within us. And Queen Bee was kind of saying it earlier. You're like, hey, we're incredible. We have so many things that we can do with inside our body, with our mind, with, Holy Spirit in us. Okay. And I know this to be true because there's two things. I'm going to say cured myself, but really it wasn't me, but I decided to. So I was depressed most of my life. And then once I figured out how I can cure myself, I did several things, but I'm not depressed anymore. I'll never be depressed again. I don't take medication or anything else. And another time I had a health issue. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. This went on for maybe 6 months. And then I decided, well, why do I need the doctors? I will do this on my own.
Mm,
And sure enough, I'm good now.
mm-hmm,
You know what I mean? I
mm-hmm.
got no problems.
I agree.
Um, we all have the power to do these types of things, but it's work. Most people can't do the work because of all the other that's going on in their heads.
Mm.
You know what I'm
That is
saying?
that is extremely right on point, Anthony. Right on point, because a lot of us, I went through a similar journey. First of all, I want to say thank you for sharing that. And two, I'm so glad that you are here, because it is a testimony to the empowerment that we give ourselves, that we can do it if you trust yourself. And it's a hard thing for someone to say, trust yourself, because I went through, and I wrote a book about it, and it's not a plug, it's just really truly I went through, it's called junction and intermindvention. And if I can be so candid, I went through a really terrible health. For 15 years, I just threw up mucus. I couldn't eat. My body was just doing its own thing. And I would be on my knees praying, asking for my mama. Me and my mama had been estranged for years, but I'm begging for
But you
my
was
mama.
asking her then, huh?
I'm begging for my mama. And I went to doctors and they couldn't, and that's one thing that made me notice that even the medical industry has a bias towards people of color in some ways, because they think that they don't know what to do. They think you're on drugs. And it's not, I am blaming anybody, but these are the things that I came across. And I'm like, no, I'm a very healthy woman. There's something up. I knew there was something up. And the medical industry, as we know it, doesn't see spirit or intuition as part of healing. And I think that is definitely a part of the African way, the original way. But it's taken out of modern medicine because we need to give power to the doctors. One of the things I noticed that I didn't like while I was going through my sickness is, why is it when you get a test I can't see the file? I want to see the file. Read the file to me. It's me. Let me see what's going on. Teach me what
Yeah.
is happening. So, I learned to take my power back. And that's when I grew up with around natural herbs. I grew up around and how to use herbs, how to use and to heal
Just
your body.
lost
So I just
it.
went
You're
back.
coming back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just basically learned how herbs worked, and I remember how my mom used to give me a roots drinks to wash out my belly to get out the nastiness. How she used to, go to the West Indian store and pick up some stuff, boil the tea, and give it to us. And I went back to that, and after a few years, now haven't taken a Tylenol for almost 30 years of my life. I haven't done anything.
Wonderful.
I straight just focus on my intuition because, like you said, and I love how you said this, Anthony. My ancestors are not going to tell me to go kill myself. They're not going to. They're not going to do anything that is raw. Going to harm me. And I listen to them. By the outside, people are looking at me like I'm crazy, but I have enough sense to know that the ancestors have a specific journey for each of us. And if we tune into that and have courage in ourselves and our ancestries and roots, and remember God is God and God will have the last touch in anything, we will be fine. But we need to
Correct.
recover that beauty of us, and regardless of what nationality or culture you are in, because we all have given away our power to a society as we see now doesn't care about us. What they want is money, and money doesn't heal. It's a tool, great, but it's not the end. It's not what we need to be focused on. And I believe the God within us is screaming to connect to what we have forgotten: the earth, the sky, the water, how we bless water, how we, when we sit down and we bless our food and we say thank you. These are all powerful tools to continue to heal our bodies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
You know, well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm feeling it, Charlie. Again, you are definitely a coordinator of spirit, because I have to say this is the first time I've ever um, publicly said that I am a initiated Centurion and voodoo priestess, and I use it to help my life. Thank you. I use it to help my life, and I've helped a lot of people in my area. But again, I'm going to be candid. The place that I live in is doesn't reflect what I look like, so they are more curious than anything else and wondering, how do you know this? And I'm like, I'm not magic. I'm just listening to my ancestors. They're telling me, you know what I mean? I'm listening. They're saying, okay, this energy right now is in this space. And Charlie, that's the funny thing, is when I called you or text you on Monday, my energies told me he's down. Let him know that you're there. So that's why I called you and say, hey brother, are you all right? What's up? You responded, you know what I'm saying? So this is how we need to look out for one another. If your
Hey,
spirit
hey,
tells
hey, Queen B, Queen
yes,
B.
yes.
I
Well,
met Charlie a few weeks ago. I connected with him instantly. The same day I met him, he came on to my show, me and my wife's show, and I said, "Well, Charlie, will you be willing to do some readings?" Charlie never told me he could do readings. Charlie just cold readings, but I knew I didn't have to ask him whether he could do that or not. I already knew. Strong connection. I mean, strong connection. The same way you connected to him.
yes,
Just
yes,
we are not people that just met.
right, right,
We've been together for years,
right, right.
longer than we know.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
So, hey, believe. You know what I'm saying?
Believe,
It
it's funny because I met Charlie on this on another app, and I'm not going to go into the situation, but it's funny when we get talked on the backdrop of it. He goes, there was something that both stood out for both of us. He's like, you can't do that. I know I can't do that, but he understood he understood that as and I'm being candid again, as a black woman, there are certain things that I have to be more aware of, and I can't just jump into it because the mindset of some people will see it differently. And he pointed it out to me. He's like, you can't do that, right? I'm like, I ain't doing that.
that's right. Why? Hey, Charlie, watch out for her. Watch out for her. We gotta watch out for each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you see, and that's something that is very important in this society, whether American, Canadian, wherever we are around the world. There is some sort of wording that you hear. I got mine. You better get yours. You know what I
Uh
mean?
huh.
Like what is happening? And this is not how as a people we should be reacting, because we are one. There is one God and we are one. And the moment we start saying, I got better because I got light skin, or I got a little bit straight hair, or whatever we like to put to
That
put
junk don't matter.
it don't matter. But
It
we have
doesn't
learned
matter.
no, we've learned to label each other and distance ourselves, and that's what I believe the ancestries are coming back to say. Look, you got your kingly, queenly hair. You got your dark skin. You got your light skin. You got all of that, and we need you to be one if we want to see the world the way we envision it, the way we were promised. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I know for a fact I had a conversation with God before I came down, and God goes, "Oh, it's going to be beautiful down here," and I got here, I was like, "What?" Where's this So I'm a little pissed. So I'm gonna go out and create the life that God has wanted me to by sharing my knowledge. And and I know what has blocked me for so long is because I was trying not to be the initiated voodoo priestess, Santerian worker, because I was like, I wasn't feeling comfortable. Like, I don't know what to do. Is this? And God was like, this is what you came to do. You came to clear energy out. You here to clean up the spiritual aspect of those who don't understand what's happening. And I own it now, and I'm proud of it because it's who I am. It's who I am.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just,
How you doing, Charlie? How you doing? How you doing, Charlie?
I'm just listening to you guys. We literally talked up the whole show, but which is good, which I'm perfectly fine with because I created this space not to just do tarot reading. I created this space for people to have conversations like this. Whatever that's on your heart, you deserve to get it out, and it deserves to be spoken about. And but more so than anything, I'm a spiritualist, so the fact that you guys just held that conversation for like a whole entire like 40 minutes, like bro, like I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that because it's in my space, and that's what I miss. I miss being able to conjugate like this and have and speak like this in this way. And I wanted to become more relaxed. I wanted to become more of a free flowing energy where people become attracted to it, whether you look like us or whether you don't look like us. I just want people to be aware of what's here and have that conversation with us, and but also at the same time allow us to have the conversation. And so when I sit here and I'm doing this, I'm not, I know people just see it like, oh, he just on here for a few minutes, he do a tarot reading or two, and then he, talk about some philosophy and things like this. But one, I'm trying to start a conversation, and two, I'm trying to give you some critical thought. Like I'm trying to push the envelope. I'm trying to get people out of their comfort space. I'm trying to get it to where we can start having these type of conversations over and over again, and it be an everyday thing and a normalized. So, with that being said, because it's 8 o'clock now, one, if you don't know what ATRs are and you watching this, go learn what ATRs are. Two, hug your people, love your people, all that good stuff. And I said three, right? Did I even say one? Anyway, thank you, Queen Bee Divine. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate and love both of you for coming on to the show and giving that energy. And I'm pretty sure neither one of you was expecting to talk, but you did, and I appreciate
No.
it.
Hey, I love it. I know I keep saying that, but I love it. I love it. I love it because how many people can we have these conversations with?
Yeah,
That's the question. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Very, very
So,
true.
yeah. Very
so
few.
when we can, we should.
That's exactly it. Because I can tell you that for a while I just thought I was by myself, and when I people would come to me who didn't reflect exactly what I looked like, they're like, how do you clean a space? How do you clear your house out of negative energy? how do you get things that are off of you, that are connected to you? And for me, I just had to learn that it was a part of my mother did it, my grandmother did it, and I tried to run from it. Isn't that something? So so here, there is a real spirit world there, and their ancestors, they're there, and some of them just want to communicate with you. Some of them just want to let you realize that you are powerful. And I'm assuming that Charlie, your ancestors are like saying, open a space up, because we need to come out. We need people to know that we're here. Ashe, ashe, I tell you, ashe, ashe.
All right, y'all. Because there's somebody knocking at my door, I'm gonna end the
All right,
show.
we're
I love
out.
you guys. I
I
appreciate
love
you.
you all too.
Love you,
We're
love
out.
you.
All right,
All
y'all.
right.
I'm Charlie Lyric, asking what's on your heart. I hope you say is love. Peace and blessings. Ashe.